So yeah, that was the beginning of the end of nothing and of everything. I have started to trust myself a bit more. I'm somewhat happy, and I'm somewhat sad. And in a way it makes me happy to see dogs running around and playing. Amy! 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 Look, now you try to get her here. Amy! Here. Here. Whoa! You see, that's how people live through their animals. You know, maybe you just felt joy seeing that little doggy running towards you, really happy, and you think, oh, I feel so good because that dog is so happy, and I just watched some porn and I fed for it because some people seem to really enjoy anal sex, and that makes me want it too because I know it works for them and I'd really love that. Sitz. Bleib. Bleib. Los. Super. And sometimes you have to throw some sticks. I've said that already. It doesn't really matter. You know, you're here in nature. In nature. And nature surely has no way of expressing itself. Sometimes I try to imitate people like Terence McKenna, because I just realized my gurus are gone. One is Ramdas, one is Alan Watts, and one is Terence McKenna. And to some of you who really cling to the materialistic science dream, they may think that Rupert Sheldrake says it all. And then there may be people who really need living things to teach them. And so I'm one of them. I'm the voice of your anus saying, please don't put a penis inside of me, because that's really what the vagina is for. And if you don't like this, if it makes you angry, you should just start looking into topics such as shame and why it may make you feel ashamed. Weiter. Up, up. From anal sex, and why you think you have to have anal sex in the first place. Weiter. Up. Because maybe you're really stuck in your life, and if you're interested in this, I think, I'm fairly certain, you know, go read my book, Hacking Your Life with Psychedelics. That's the first version, and the extended version is called Not Madness. Right? You just go and read that, and you confront your own anxieties with psychedelics. You know, if you want to get away from psychedelics, that's definitely also a good book, just to find some balance. Because to me, for instance, I really try to say no to psychedelics, hop, 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 and I try to never do them again. But that also only is half of the truth, because there's a part in me that really likes them. I just had to find that, okay, they're good for certain things and less good for others. So, you know, usually, right, they have to help you to move on. And so one of the reasons why I started smoking herbal cigarettes without tobacco is because I felt stuck. I was hanging on to some kind of emotions of rage, and because I'm not really good at just sitting around meditating, or at least not yet, because there's too much stuff agitating me. I really have to learn. Come on, right? I really had to learn to just focus on what I feel like doing. Look at this, right? This is how you are when you just start out on this journey. You want everything, you want to stick your finger into everything, you want to stick your penis into everything, and you just want to run around and play. And at one point you may say, "But I don't want to play anymore." At least not in that sense, right? Because now I've played enough, I've fooled around enough, and now I have the feeling, I kind of know what to do. And that's then when the real magic starts, in a way, and you can relate this to the feeling of somebody who knows nothing about cooking and now has 10 years of experience in cooking. He will cook different and more conscious in a way, if he wants to, than most people. And so you have to pay attention what makes a good soup first. Because if you just start, throwing stuff into the pot, it may work sometimes, but when does it work? And what was the ingredient that made this soup exceptional? And could you reproduce it? And so, what are the ingredients for a good trip? Right? Some people have figured it out. Like me, for instance, the entire life is a trip. So why not attempt to make it somewhat a good trip, right? And the one thing that I've learned is you have to keep yourself going somehow. Don't cling. Keep going. And the things that you want in your life are basically just a direction. Oh, this feels good. I'll start walking towards it. This feels good. So I start walking towards it. And I keep walking. Sometimes I only walk to the edge of it. And sometimes I immerse myself in it. Because sometimes I get to the edge of what looked good from a distance, and I tried walking and immersing myself in it, only to realize that isn't what I wanted. But then what I have to do is let go of wanting and say, I've tried wanting it, just wasn't it. Yeah, it just wasn't it. Yeah, it really wasn't it. But what is it then? Well, it remains to be a feeling that's living inside your anus, because you're pushing it down out with all the food that you eat, then you shit it into the toilet. And every time you eat something that you wanted to eat, all that comes out of it is shit. So maybe fasting would be something really advisable to you. And I'm saying that to myself in a way, but I also have to acknowledge that at the moment I don't really like it. And that's okay in a sense, right? As this started with making sense. And right, if nothing else, what this video is attempting to show you is, once, you don't always have to wear the same kind of stuff twice, right? I mean, when it's loud, you have to go where it's quiet, but then also you have to accept that it's going to take a while before you adjust to the new kind of level of noise. Because the sound of silence, the secret of silence is found in the noise. And this is something that I picked up from Alan Watts, who said that there is no such thing as just sound, because sound is the alternation of sound and no sound. And that's why you talk about sound waves, because a wave isn't just the top thing of whatever you're looking at. So a sinus wave means, you know, it's always heads and tails, right? Right? It's always heads and tails. It's male and female. And it's the wave has a top and the wave has a bottom. So it has a high point, it has a low point. And when you are being born as a child, I'm going to keep talking for a bit. When you are being born as a child, because this is interesting, I've never gone to such places with my mind. When you are being born as a child, los.